Chapter 11, Things Yet to Come. As you return to Camelot, the red comet hangs in the distant sky like a warning. Some common folk are staring at it and murmuring, while others are busy repairing damage to the square where you were attacked. If we cannot stop my vision before the comet is over the city, I fear we'll be too late. Then we, at best, find Merlin at once. The three of you dismount just inside the castle gates as servants rush up to greet you. King Arthur, if I could just have a moment of your time. I'm sorry, but it will have to wait. Sir Lancelot and I have urgent business with the princess. The three of you rush into Merlin's laboratory. The wizard looks up from a thick, dusty book in front of him. Welcome home, Merlin. It's good to have you back.
But under such circumstances, your majesty, I heard about the attack in the Camelot streets. I am glad to see you and the princess safe, but it troubles me greatly. I take it your search for Brucen's killer was not fruitful?
We ruled out Lady Morgana's involvement, nor do we suspect her of this attack, though it troubles us all. Merlin, the attack in Wayne, we face a more pressing danger.
Graver than an attempt on the king's life.
Arthur was not their true target, and the threat I've seen endangers all of Camelot.
Elaborate.
I've had another vision, a more complete glimpse of the one from before. You quickly describe the new details you've seen, from the comet to the figure of the battlements and the grim shadow. Whoever these new figures are, they must have something to do with what may happen, but I cannot see their faces.
The comet I recognize. In my study of the stars, I have read about it passing through the heavens in centuries past. It is a dire omen. While it is in the skies, magic across the realm is greatly strengthened by its passage, for good and for ill.
Do you think its presence will help me pierce the veil of my visions?
Perhaps, although I'm curious, did anything prompt this more complete vision?
Arthur gives you a cautious glance, clearly worried for his sister's many secrets. I glimpsed more of the vision by chance. He glanced at Arthur for help and he speaks up. You yourself have told me that there are places of power in the deep woods, Merlin. The vision struck while we rode through one such place. Merlin looks from you to Arthur, and for a moment you wonder if he truly believes you, but he simply inclines his head.
It is possible. The old woods hold many secrets. They also hold a rare herb that lets me probe deeper into my own visions.
The herb you spoke of before the joust?
Indeed. I had none at the time, but my recent travels allowed me to gather more. I was going to use it to gain insight into this attack, but perhaps it is best used to bring forth more of your vision.
Is the herb dangerous?
Only for the weak-willed. You may be drawn into your visions more deeply than ever before, more deep enough that they cannot hold as much peril as insight.
Then that is a risk I must take. I cannot let this tragedy befall Camelot, not without a fight.
Very well. Return at sunset once I have brewed the herb into a potion, and we shall see what truce your visions hold.
He turns his back on you in clear dismissal. Arthur squares his shoulders and leads you and Lancelot from the tower. Are you sure you wish to do this, Guinevere? This potion sounds like something even Merlin fears. I'm not afraid. I faced far graver dangers than a potion, and I would rather make my visions work for me than be at their mercy. I don't like to see you at risk, but if you face your vision as boldly as you spoke those words, you should have nothing to fear. I hope you're right, but while we wait, do you need to speak to the servants, Arthur? They seemed quite insistent. I believe they want both of our approval on the final details of the wedding. After all, it is only 2 days away. Your heart skips a beat at the thought. It is a wedding you came here for. The king and you are betrothed too, but you can't help glancing at Lancelot when your thoughts stray towards the future. Oh, well, in that case, we should not keep them wait. I must insist on accompanying you both. We can't be sure the danger within Camelot is past. As long as the tedium of wedding planning will not bore you, I'd welcome your assistance, my friend. Lancelot's iron self-control prevents any discomfort from showing on his face, but his eyes cannot quite meet yours. I wonder if he is also remembering that kiss. And while we attended this task, I had something prepared while you were away to welcome Princess Guinevere home. Father leads you into a changing room, and at a clap of his hands, a servant rushes in with a beautiful gown. I know the circumstances of your departure were regrettable, but this is still your home, and I want you to feel comfortable here. It will take more than assassins to make me feel otherwise. As the servant holds out the luxurious gown, Arthur smiles, and Lancelot eyes the lush fabric, despite himself, his gaze flickering towards you. This gown will unlock a moment of closeness in your visions. You seek its sunset. That's pretty. It is lovely, and very much a comfort. Arthur smiles warmly at the sight of you, his eyes shining. It was already a beautiful gown, but on you it is transcendent. Don't you agree, Lancelot? Lancelot tries to keep his expression mild, but he can't hide the appreciation in his gaze or the small smile he allows himself. Our future queen outshines the sun once again. She does indeed. You fall into step between Arthur and Lancelot as you walk through the castle halls. Inside the bustling kitchen, a familiar servant awaits you. Your Majesty, the cook has gathered several recipes for your wedding feast, but she is desperate to know what is your preference. Guinevere, will you do the honors? I wish everything at the wedding be exactly as you want it. Of course. We have prepared one of the king's favorites, a roast quill with herbs. But if there is something else that you would prefer... Princess might enjoy the bean and noodle soup. It's a fine recipe from a distant land, your highness, not so different from the dish you enjoyed at Joyous Guard. Arthur glances between you and Lancelot, his brow lifting slightly with surprise. I had no idea you knew so much about cooking, or Princess Guinevere's tastes. Which would you prefer to serve at your wedding, your highness? Arthur's favorite. Listen! I already did Arthur's favorite once, okay? Actually, twice. We're doing Lancelot's recommendation. And for a heartbeat, you see doubt in Arthur's gaze, but in the next moment, he laughs it off. I must admit, the recipe is excellent. It will make a fine celebration for our wedding. Lancelot bows, his gaze never leaving yours. I'm glad the princess agrees. Sir Percival suddenly rushes through the kitchen doors, slightly out of breath. Your Majesty, your highness, they're asking for you in the great hall. Then lead the way, Sir Percival. Follow Percival to the feast hall, where servants are bustling around, carrying twisted ropes of flowers and long swaths of fabric. Kay stands in the middle of the chaos, looking grumpy. Finally, you're here. The steward has had a last-minute bout of nerves and decided the hall is not grand enough for the royal wedding. I think it would be quite grand for a wedding. Your stomach twists a little as you glance over at Lancelot, but you cannot help smiling at Arthur or your husband-to-be. Why are we giving a shit about either person's opinion? It's our fucking wedding. I can't imagine a finer location. No offense, but, you know, that's just how I feel. Nor could I. That's a relief, but the steward is insisting on all sorts of drapery and new additions. He's always had a good eye. I say let him have at it. Very well. I'll help the steward arrange the final details, and then we'll just need a place for the bacchanalia. I've never heard of such a thing in Camelot. Is it a local tradition? Indeed, one last wild celebration held the night before a wedding. I have a few places in mind, but I have yet to settle on one. And as safe as I can be. Before you can respond, Morgana's voice drifts across the hall. When you've finished obsessing over danger and duty, perhaps you could give some thoughts to your wedding party? Has that even crossed your mind yet, or is it just nobly waving swords in there? I need to give no thought to it. My best man will be Lancelot, of course. It would be an honor to stand by my king. He grips his sword's hilt, bows, but only you seem to notice the split second of hesitation before he goes on. And a pleasure to stand by my friend. I wasn't asking about your portion of the wedding party, brother. Morgana turns to you and raises one eyebrow, a mysterious smile on her lips. I was determined not to tolerate you, Guinevere of Camelot, but despite my best efforts, your presence has become bearable. Are you saying you like me, Lady Morgana? I find myself taking pity on you, but I will be happy to stand as your maid of honor. Morgana? I'm touched. You should be. I would be grateful if you stood as my maid of honor.
And if the wedding details are settled, I think a wizard is waiting for us.
You arrive just after sunset to find Merlin in his tower, cradling a lightly smoking goblet in his hands.
I must warn you again, Your Highness, but this potion is very potent.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Let me drink it now. I must see things. Go to faraway lands. Something, anything. The vision.
It shows you may feel more real than any you've previously experienced. You must not get lost in what you see.
Whatever you face, you still control your fate, Your Highness. No vision is stronger than your will. You nod, and Lancelot gives you a small, encouraging smile. Arthur looks worried, but he squeezes your hand. You care for Camelot as if she was already your own. I do not know what I deserve, such a brave queen, but I am more grateful for you every day. Come back to me, Guinevere.
Camelot will be lost without you.
I am certain I can weather one magic potion. I am a princess, after all. We often face dragons, assassins, foul treachery before breakfast. I hope you will face fewer of all three once you become a queen. Lancelot and Arthur watch, their shoulders tense as you accept the goblet from Merlin. Brightly colored liquid swirls in the cup, and you brace for the taste of bitter herb. Take a drink. The cup slips from your fingers. Distantly, you hear the clatter of it hitting the stone, Arthur and Lancelot calling your name. Whee! It's fun time. The roar of flames swallows everything as they burn away. You stumble onto a blood-stained grass of a familiar battlefield. Show me what I need to stop this, please. But Merlin was right. Everything feels so real this time. The slick grass beneath your fingers, the screams of battle, the stench of the palace in flames. Above you, the comet streaks across the sky, a scarlet omen of doom, and you see a bloodied Arthur and Lancelot facing off, that shadow looming over them as their swords clash together. Why are you doing this? Who are you? You force yourself to your feet and turn towards the shadow. You can almost make out a feature, the gleam of their eyes, the arch of her brow. If I can just get closer. You take a step, but something seems to pull you backwards. Some force grips your entire body and tugs. Oh, wait, I have to see. But it's no use. The vision twists, crumples, the noise of battle dissolving into a dull roar. That melts into trumpets and cheers, the fanfare of a royal gathering as you stand upon a sunlit balcony. What? Where am I? A procession moves through the streets below with people calling up to you. Queen Guinevere, give us a wave! Wait, Queen? Well, my love, we shouldn't keep them waiting. You startle at the sight of Arthur standing beside you, smiling and waving to the crowd, but he is not the quite Arthur you know. A few more years lie upon his shoulders. Arthur, what happened to the fire, the battlefield? This is not where I... There is no fire, save the torches below, my love. He reaches out to place a comforting hand on one of yours. Sometimes the memories of past troubles haunt me too, but our peace still holds. See how the people cheer? How can this be, unless this is a glimpse of Camelot's future? Of my future if the kingdom survives and I marry Arthur?
Long live Queen Guinevere.
Your head swims, but the procession below is looking up to you for response. You plaster a smile on your face as best as you can. Thank you all, and long may our peace last. As the cheering procession moves away from below your balcony, Arthur takes your hand, lowering his voice so only you can hear. I think they can manage the rest without us. Come, my love. He escorts you inside a grand room with a luxurious bed more than large enough for two. These are royal chambers, our bedroom. I must say it fills my heart with happiness to see you so beloved by our people. You always treat them with such a grace. A wave of dizziness sweeps over you as you glance around the chambers, so new and yet somehow so familiar. This cannot be real, but it feels so real, and somehow Camelot is safe. Arthur removes his crown, sets it on the stand beside the bed, and goes to open a curtain and let the afternoon sun in. There's a relaxation to him that you've rarely seen. Arthur, what happened to Camelot? How did you and Lancelot survive? Survive? I don't understand. It's just, I was worried that... He squeezes your hand. I assure you, I'm perfectly safe as for the rest of Camelot. Our dream of peace is as stable as it has ever been, and our people are fortunate to have such a radiant queen. His eyes wander across the lush fabric of your gown, sparkling with even more admiration than your Arthur has ever shown you. And how do you feel about your queen? I am the most fortunate of all. You ought to know that by now, my love. Okay, we need to focus. You are too kind, my king, and I am happy to know that all is well. You realize that with a start, this may be Arthur, but not the same one you've come to know. He never experienced the same threats to Camelot, and has no idea why I'm here. Something troubles you. What is it, my queen? All you can do is shake your head as tears prick your eyes. I know it has been difficult between ruling Camelot and maintaining the kingdom's peace, but we've not had much trouble to ourselves, or time to ourselves, but... Your vision suddenly wavers, as if you're about to be ripped away from the scene before you, but after a moment it resolves in the same time, the same place. My head, this isn't right, none of this is real. Arthur takes one look at your face and stops cold, taking you by the shoulders and peering into your eyes. Are you well, Guinevere? Arthur, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. Where else could you possibly belong more than here with me? It is difficult to explain. Arthur hesitates, and then understanding dawns on his features. Have you had another vision? You know about those? Of course, you are exceptional in more ways than I can count, my love, but I would be poor husband to forget your gift. I know they can sometimes be unpleasant. Would you like to talk about it? Yes, I would. If he knows about the visions, and we have been together for years, perhaps he's helped Guinevere understand them. Arthur, have I ever learned to control my visions or to see them more clearly? His brow furrows at the strangeness of the question, but like Arthur, you know, he still answers thoughtfully. You have learned of an amulet that might help you do so. We were discussing it just yesterday, but I know you have much on your mind. I certainly do, but what else do we know about this amulet? Where is it? You never share the details with me, but you asked Lancelot to find it for you. He's all away now, searching for it. Are you quite certain you're well, Guinevere? You meet his question with a smile, a real one this time, filled with hope and relief. Yes, I'm all right. If this vision of me could find answers, they must be out there. If only Lancelot were here to tell me more. Why not just ask Arthur more? In that case, since we have a rare moment alone, I thought you could use a break. A private outing, like we used to enjoy when we first got married, before the kingdom needed our attention at every waking moment. Do you have a particular spot in mind? I'll show you, if you permit me. This may not be a vision you were seeking, but you also do not know how you came to be here or how to escape. And he is right here. An Arthur who has known me far longer than mine yet does. We're going on a date in our little horse carriage. That would be lovely. I don't know, I had to think of something. Leave me alone. Arthur's smile grows, and he takes your hand. Then come, my love, let us hide away for a few hours in one of your favorite places. Arthur leads you to a vast library. Your footsteps echo off the high ceilings, and the cool shadowed stacks are deserted. At your glance, he shrugs one shoulder. I had it cleared for the afternoon, so we can truly be alone. You've thought of everything. He draws you into a private reading nook, where a plush couch big enough for two is nestled amongst the shelves. You stretch out on an Arthur by your side and give it an experimental bounce. I never knew this place I forgot that it had such comfortable couches. And for some reason the observation makes him laugh. I would find them hard to forget. Remember the night a few years back, just after midsummer? We watched that storm from the west balcony and snuck off to hide in there. He trails off meaningfully, and your cheeks warm as you realize what he's implying. Yes, I can imagine what we got up to. The temptation to hear more about the strange future is overwhelming, and in the closeness of the moment, it's hard to fight it. I wonder what this Guinevere's life with Arthur has been like. I'm curious why the hell we're inquiring when factually we should be, like, asking for more details about the day the comet hit, but, you know. What would you wish we'd done differently? He takes your hand in his and cradles it as he considers your question, and I'm sure his answer is going to be nothing. Honestly, I wish I had courted you properly. As blissful as our marriage has been, I wish we could say it wasn't duty that brought us together. That we'd had a chance to choose one another from the start. His words are as touching as a lingering kiss that he presses to the back of your hand. So, you're happy I'm here? Of course, the entire kingdom adores you, my queen. Though none so fervently as your husband. And the kingdom, things truly are peaceful? I see you're determined to walk down memory lane this afternoon. Very well. He rises and pulls you to your feet. Let me show you just how much we've accomplished. He leads you to a display where several documents are encased under glass. You see treaties with neighboring kingdoms, including Camelot. One even features King Caradoc's heavy scroll. Together we've maintained peace between dozens of once rival kingdoms. It hasn't been easy, but it's been worth it. This dream of a golden age of peace, we finally made it come true. And we've commemorated that peace with more than just a few rolls of parchment. He takes your shoulders and turns you towards a beautiful stained glass window. Oh, Arthur, is that us? The window depicts you and Arthur side by side with your hands just touching. The afternoon sun glowing through the glass turns it into 1,000 rainbows. It is. If we are lucky, I believe history will remember us as kindly as our people treat us now. Do you ever wonder what other paths you could have taken? If you had made different choices? If your life had led you elsewhere? I did when I was younger, when the crown still weighed heavily upon my brow, but these days it rests as lightly as it ever has. I'm incandescently happy, just as I am here with you. He sighs deeply. My only regret is how little time we've had to ourselves these days. Sometimes it seems as though we barely have time to think. Why is that exactly? Have we been occupied with caring for our kingdom? In part, seeing how our people are faring across the land requires much traveling, and there are other rulers to visit, of course. Caradoc invited us to his castle for no less than a fortnight, and he'll brook no argument. Goodness, we are busy. Very. His arms slide around you, and he kisses your cheek. But that makes me all the more grateful to have this time with you now. Me too. Now, before I get distracted again, I've brought you a gift. I saw it during my recent travels and it reminded me of you, so I had to bring it home. He pulls a small velvet bag from beneath his tunic. Inside lies a beautiful ring of precious metal set with lustrous stones. Golden ring. It's gorgeous. Thank you, Arthur. I don't know what to say. You lingered in your vision. Our time together has been more of a gift than you know. It's been a gift to me too, my love. One I thank the gods for every day. The moment you press your lips to his, Arthur pulls you in, deepening the kiss. You lose yourself in the moment, in the heat of his mouth, the sensation of his hands on your body. Arthur. You grip the fabric of his clothes, pulling him closer as you stumble back against one of the library shelves. Together, a few books tumble from their perches behind you. Oh. Are you alright? I will be if you keep kissing me. Your king, your husband, laughs as he leans in. A low, eager laugh. That is all for you. One hand braces against the shelves behind you, and the other cups the small of your back as his mouth fills yours. Finds yours. Listen, shh! And he parts your lips with his. My mind was wandering. I may be king of England, but I am yours to command. Not that way, in case you think that. In this Arthur's arms, there is no danger looming over Camelot, no uncertainty, just heat, love poured into each one of his dazzling kisses. He slides one leg between your thighs, the pressure making you gasp with want as his kisses trail down your throat. Yes, that's... Tell me what you want, my queen. But then you feel that visceral tug again, drawing you away from this place, away from him. No... Guinevere, what is happening? I'm sorry, Arthur, The last thing you see is him reaching desperately for you, his face stricken with worry in the golden light of the library. When the vision stops churning, you find yourself in a grassy clearing, staring at a neat row of archery targets. You shake your head to clear it. Through the trees beyond the targets, you spot the familiar stone walls of Joyous Guard. How did I get all the way to Joyous Guard? Are you going to shoot the target, or just stare at him? You turn to find Lancelot standing beside you, clad in simple clothing instead of his usual armor. His smile is open and teasing. Lancelot, where am I? What is going on? You are exactly where you should be, outside your castle on a beautiful day. My castle? I know you do not greet the sunrise gracefully, my beloved wife, but waking early for this lesson certainly has you out of the sorts. His wife? Oblivious to your shock, Lancelot steps forward, his fingers adjusting your shoulders as he taps one of your boots with his own, and with a start you realize that you hold a bow in one hand. Remember to watch your stance. Right, of course. You adjust your stance under Lancelot's direction as the vision slowly steadies around you. Just like that, our lessons have clearly paid off. This must be another future where we survive Camelot's fall, but instead of marrying Arthur, I married... Are you ready, beloved? Despite his question, Lancelot does not glance at the target. He is drinking in the sight of your close-fitting gown. And unlike Lancelot you have known, he makes no attempt to hide the heat in his gaze or the hungry smile that crooks one end of his mouth. I'm ready if you are. Next to you, Lancelot raises his bow with a grin of challenge. He draws the bow back easily and releases, nearly sending an arrow into the bullseye. As he raises an eyebrow at you, waiting for you, instinctively draw your own bowstring back. Hit the bullseye. You almost feel the ghost of a dozen archery lessons shared with this Lancelot as you take aim and release the arrow. It sails directly into the bullseye, and Lancelot chuckles. You're especially beautiful when you're winning. Then I shall endeavor to do it more often. Lancelot, open in affection, is nothing more like the walls he struggles to hold against you and your real memories. It makes your heart ache with longing. You seem so happy, but I came here to save Camelot. My Camelot, to find answers. Another challenge, my lady. Actually, I would like to hear a story instead, if you're willing. Remembering what you learned from your vision of Arthur, you take a deep breath and gamble on the history that clearly lies between you and Lancelot. There was an amulet you sought once, an artifact to help me peer more deeply into visions. Did you ever find it? You don't remember? Perhaps I'd simply like to hear you tell me the story again. Very well, if it'll make my wife happy. You retrieves both of your arrows from the target as he speaks, taking your bow and quiver to set them aside. Searching for that amulet was one of our first quests together after the wedding. We braved bandits, rogues, and petty king. We found the amulet in the end, but once it served its purpose, you insisted we return it to its original owner, the Lady of the Lake. I've heard that name before in legends. She's an ancient being of powerful magic. A friend of Camelot. Are you regretting that decision now? No, no. We had good reason to return it, I assume. Lancelot smiles and cups your cheek, aching gently. Just say the word, and I'll retrieve it again. You are my wife and love, the lady of my castle, my dearest friend. Thank you. I may have more need of it someday. More tender than you've ever seen him, Lancelot nods and leads you to his horse at the edge of the clearing. Every step you take through the grass feels solid, real, but your heart swims again as you mount and clutch at the saddle. Guinevere, what is wrong? Your heart aches, hearing your name from his lips, the name your Lancelot has not dared to speak aloud. Lancelot. This isn't right, I need to get out of here. Confusion and pain fill Lancelot's expressions, but they give way to resolve as he mounts behind you. If this clearing is troubling you, we will leave. I will send for Morgana. Whatever ails you, she will help. No, you need not. You rub your brow, painfully aware that no matter how much you do not belong here, Lancelot clearly does. I will be fine. It was just a passing mood. Princesses are known to have them from time to time. If you are sure. Lancelot spurs the horse forward, but not towards Joyous Guard. Where are we going? Lancelot's shoulders slump ever so slightly before he replies. You remember the rider who arrived last night? Yes, of course. I'm afraid she brought news from Arthur. I am needed to handle a dispute in the north. Are we leaving so soon without your armor or your sword? No. To my regret, this is not a quest on which you can join me. I wish it were. But since I knew that we would have to say goodbye this afternoon, I planned a small surprise for you. A picnic on our favorite hill. I should like to spend as much time with my wife as I can before duty calls me away. I do not know how long I have in this, whatever this is, but he and I have clearly shared much happiness together. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna go ahead and skip this one. It is sweet of you to think of me, but there is somewhere else I need to be. Where? Before you can reply, the vision churns around you once more, and you cry out in alarm. Guinevere, my heart, what is wrong? He reaches for you, but then Lancelot and the world around him are swept away in a roar of flames. Flames leap from everywhere at once, but there's no pain yet, no heat, or only heat. They part around you to reveal the same gruesome battlefield. Here again, but where is that shadow? The moment you turn to look, the heat around you rises. The flames creep in, licking at your feet. You try to beat them out, but to no avail. I can't see a way out. The crackling blaze surrounds you, smoke filling your lungs, but two voices suddenly rise above the flames. Fight it, princess! You are stronger than this magic, Guinevere. This isn't real. None of this is real. Their distant voice calls to you, and you reach towards them as your gown begins to burn. Fighting towards Camelot, you remember. I'll follow Lancelot's voice, Arthur's voice. I mean, I guess. It doesn't really matter. You cling to the sound of Arthur's voice, it crystallizes, and the words wrap around you, protecting you from the flames. Guinevere, come back to us, come back to me. I do not know what I would do without you. Okay, so we found nothing out. Jesus Christ. Look for the Lady in the Lake, which may help us, because the potion sure as shit didn't. Abruptly, you find yourself back in Merlin's lab. Lancelot and Arthur kneel on either side of you, and you're clutching Arthur's hand so tightly it must hurt. Oh, thank the gods. I heard you. I followed your voice back. He bows his head over your clasped hands, his voice hoarse with worry. Oh, I don't know what I would have done if you had not. I saw so much. It was bewildering. Then it was worth it? Did you find what you were looking for? You look between them, unsure how to describe what you saw, and certain you do not want to try to explain it. It showed me different futures. Different futures? Has that ever happened before? Never. Because she would know, because she's never taken the potion until now. Hey, Merlin! Has it ever shown you different futures, Merlin? Maybe we should ask the guy who takes it regularly. But they were not the tragedy I first saw for Camelot. They were peaceful. I only wish I understood what they meant.
I'm sorry the potion was not of more help. It has never failed me before.
But surely this is good news. It means Camelot's downfall cannot be set in stone, just as I've always said. Perhaps you're right, and there's more. I heard of an amulet that may show me the true answers that we need. It is held by the Lady of the Lake.
That would be good news, but I regret to say that the Lady of the Lake has not been heard from in many years.
Just because of others have failed to summon her from the waters does not mean that we will. We have to try. Well, then we shall head to her lake first thing in the morning. It is our best hope of summoning the lady, and it will make a perfect spot to host the Bacchanalia. Typical Arthur and Merlin. They always do things and, like, say, look, it's for this, but then they say have a mission. It's, no. Anyway, without further ado, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head on down the description of the video. There's plenty of cool things. Plenty of ways to communicate with me, as well as join our community, our family, that I would like you to be a part of. And, yeah, no, that's about it for today. I've officially caught up with Guinevere, thank God. Let's just put it this way. It's been a long day. Okay? It's been a long night. It's been a long 24 hours. I streamed 14 hours, okay? And, like, part of it was, I don't know if you guys have ever played Oxygen, not included, but holy sweet baby Jesus micromanaging. I played that shit, and I couldn't stop. So head to that purple thing at the top of your screen, and if you want to see the gameplay, because it was literally 14 hours long. I mean, not all of it was, that game, but most of it was that game. Oh, boy. My brain's a little fried, so that's why I wasn't doing, like, the best. I definitely need, like, recuperation time. And then also, there's just some days where coffee, I know, but what I'm about to say is, horrible. Some days coffee does not work on me anymore. I don't know what it is. But it just seems like I'm still groggy and tired and, yeah. This coffee just, my liquid juice, hold on, sip. Oh, it just doesn't work on me, though. It tastes still good, though. Tastes gorgeous, yes. Anyway, maybe I just need to have another cup, to get me out of this groggy, foggy state. But I love your beautiful faces. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you all hopefully in the stream or the next video. Peace out.